Well, sir, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Staffins. I am the president and CEO of the Brunswick Golden Isles Chamber of Commerce and a graduate of GCSU, both in '06 and '08.
Oh,
Me and my wife both had the pleasure of going to Georgia College, and we had such an incredible time there in Milledgeville. I was a political science undergraduate and a master's of public administration graduate program. And I worked alongside the city manager there in Milledgeville as I was working on my graduate program. I thought I was going to law school after that, but I quickly fell in love with economic development. The city manager, it was a great idea. He was sending me to the different city departments to spend time with the department heads. And I got over to my second assignment was at the Chamber of Commerce and with the Development Authority both. And I liked it so much I didn't want to leave, and he allowed me to stay there. And so I was also the graduate assistant of the government and sociology department. And so it was an incredible opportunity to spend my last 2 years there in Milledgeville working on my master's, but also getting some real experience in the field that I ended up in. And so right out of college, me and my wife stayed in Middle Georgia, and then we've been to a couple of different communities because of my job. All I've ever done is lead economic development organizations. And I've been working 15 years. I can't believe it's been 15 years since 2008. And so we've just been fortunate enough to be in some great communities, land some important economic development projects for those communities, and we are loving it here on Georgia's coast.
wonderful. So let's just back a little bit. Tell us, why you picked GCSU.
So I picked Georgia College because of the small town feel and small classroom size. I kind of came down between Georgia, University of Georgia, and Georgia College, and to me, it was about the one-on-one kind of feel that Georgia College offered that the larger universities didn't offer.
Definitely. Okay. Any standout courses from when you were here? Were you involved in fraternities? What kind of activities took up your time?
Yeah, so I was a political nerd, thinking I was going to law school and going to run for governor or something before it's said and done. So
They still got
all the
time.
politics courses were always my favorite, but I'll never forget Dr. Jan Mabey. He taught quantitative techniques, and so that's like an advanced statistics class. And nobody ever made good grades in Dr. Mabey's quantitative techniques class, and I made almost 100 in that class. And I think the only reason I didn't was because it's not statistically possible to be perfect, according to Dr. Mabey. But he was a great mentor. And Dr. Digby, who was the dean of the social sciences department, was an incredible mentor as well. And being their graduate assistant allowed me to get to know them really well, and they steered me in the right direction. And it was just a blessing to be in those two men's class. And another professor that comes to mind is Dr. Ruth. She was wonderful. I did some independent studies with her, and she taught me the world. I got to learn about world politics sitting right in her classroom. So it was great as well.
Yeah, wonderful. So when it's time to do your master's, what brought you back here?
Well, I would like to say it was the incredible campus, but it wasn't. It was a girl. My wife and I were dating at that point, and I knew that we would be married, and I didn't want to leave her before she finished her undergrad. And so the thought was for me to grab the master's degree before going on to law school, like I said. And I fell in love in economic development with a career and a profession, and I can't imagine doing anything else. And so now, me and my wife have been married 15 years. We have 4 beautiful children, and to think it all started right there in Milledgeville on the Georgia College campus is really special.
Yeah, let's just talk a little bit more about your career. So, some people watching this might not understand what exactly the Chamber of Commerce does. So just break it down a little bit for us.
Yeah, so every community has a chamber of commerce for the most part, and what we do is we are the voice of business. So in my current in the Golden Isles, which is Brunswick, St. Simon, Sea Island, that area, Georgia's coast, we represent 1,200 businesses who are members of the chamber, and we represent over 35,000 employees. And so we do things like attract new business to the community. We help develop the workforce. We work with educational partners like the school system. I sit on the board of the Technical College, Coastal Pines Technical College, and we also have the College of Coastal Georgia in our community. So we connect all those dots to help in the workforce arena. We help advocate for needs in our community. Some great examples. We're securing funding for a new nursing building expansion at our college. So we're doubling the amount of nurses that are coming out of our nursing program in the coming years. And that was due to public-private partnership between the business community, the hospital, and the college. And so we've got private investment going into our college to match the public dollars that we advocated for from the state of Georgia, and we're able to bring back in. And so it's really, I like to tell folks all the time, if government was left to its own devices, it would certainly overreach into the business sector and make for not necessarily the most business friendly environment locally. And so I tell people we are the organization that stands in between business and government overreach. But we do a lot more than that. We advocate on behalf of businesses' interest and help our schools. And another example in our community is the Sidney Lanier Bridge, huge bridge that allows ships, the ro-ro ships. We're the busiest ro-ro port in the United States of America, and allows those ships to pass underneath the Sidney Lanier Bridge. We advocated for that funding for that bridge at the federal level, and we're able to bring dollars back home from Washington to get that bridge built. So people think all the time that things just happen in a community, and they don't just happen in a community. So it's places and organizations like the Chamber that allow communities to thrive and prosper. But most people, when you think about chambers, you think about landing that big new project that comes into the community. And we certainly do a lot of that, but we certainly fight for our current businesses and their needs just as hard.
Wonderful. Well said. So if a freshman, a sophomore comes across this, somebody who's just starting their college career, they like politics, they like economics, but they don't, really quite know what they want to do. What's your advice for people?
So what I would tell somebody is to keep an open mind. I had no idea that I would end up being the president of one of the biggest chambers in the state of Georgia. So have an open mind, try new things, but most importantly, you got to work hard. You got to work hard at school, and you've got to make good connections. It's never about just what you know. You have to have the what you know, but you also got to have the who you know. And so even while you're in school, get a job, get a great network, and work your network, and you'll never know who can help you down the line. Apply what you've learned in the college at Georgia College to the real world experience. And I can tell you, as somebody who hires people, the college degree is hugely important, but also is experience. So you got to have both. So try to get some sort of experience in the field that you want to be in, even if it's an unpaid internship, so that your resume and you have some experience to talk about on top of the programs and degree that you end up with. So that would be my advice to a young person: work hard, develop a network, and get a job.
Well said. So speaking of, unpaid internships and stuff, would trying to volunteer for your local chamber, would that be something you would recommend?
Oh, absolutely. And I can tell you that the Milledgeville Chamber and the Development Authority there locally would love to have a Georgia College student. They always have. I've got a great relationship with the folks there in Milledgeville, and I'm positive that they would love to have a Georgia College student. They are some of the best students in the state, and I know that firsthand from having Georgia College interns. And I'm a proud alumnus, great Bobcat, right? And so I'd be happy to help connect some dots with the local chambers, because it's not just Milledgeville. Macon's got an incredible chamber. They got a new leader there. Jones County, they all have chambers. And so getting plugged in with one of them, learning what they do, the ins and outs, would certainly put you on a good trajectory and give you some good experience, because it's not just the experience you gain at the chamber, it's the business acumen and business knowledge you gain from its members, which is hugely invaluable.
Okay. So thank you for your time, sir. Is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have?
No, I think that covered it.